morning, everyone, and welcome to the Charity First Handicapping Challenge, the first challenge of the year, and it's starting out to be a challenging one since one of our guests could not make it. But it's a pleasure to have you guys here. And Chappie, it's opening day.
It's opening day, George. I can't wait to get this meet started. Of course, it's the Win and You're In weekend. Plenty of big races all weekend. And if anybody can roll with the punches, take both sides and just keep going, it's our man Gino Bacola from That's What G Said. Gino, always full of energy. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, man, I am pumped. My mom and dad met each other at Santa Anita. My mom sold the digest at Santa Anita. My dad would come in every single day, and he would ask her out on a date. She'd kind of roll her eyes and, whatever. And then one day he came up and he said, I got a horse that we've been waiting for a long time. He gave her a $20 to win ticket. He says, this horse is going to win. You're going to come out on a date with me later on tonight. Horse won. Thank goodness it did. She went out with him later on. The rest is history. I grew up my entire life 5 minutes away from Santa Anita. It is home court for me. It is home track for me. So opening day, the weeks leading up, I always get really excited because I get the blinkers on come Santa Anita time. We're going to be covering every racing day, all the stakes, pick fives, everything on That's What G Said. Tons of coverage for Santa Anita.
I love it.
It's wonderful. And you guys got a wealth of information, not just in horse racing, but just everything sports around the country, movies, you name it. You guys are on it.
We're going to have some fun with those contests too, Georgie. Those Santa Anita Pick'em contests every Saturday, Sunday, because they combine the racing and the sports. So that's where I'm really going to dive in. Free contests to enter for $1,000 prizes every Saturday and Sunday.
That's right.
And you're instrumental to put those contests together, Chappie. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, basically what we're doing is we're going to have around 12 picks a week. They're gonna revolve around horse racing and sports. So some prop bets on NFL games or college football or baseball games. Andrew Arthur's trying to get me to throw some soccer in. I don't think that's going to happen. But other than that, we're just combining horse racing. Some of the races will be like, who will win race 1 at Santa Anita, a stake race, or over under on the number of wins by a certain jockey, or over unders in one of the games in football, or passing yards by Tom Brady, that type of thing. So you can go to santanita.com, sign up, free to play every Saturday and Sunday. Like Gino said, $1,000 a day we're giving out for free, right, Gino?
Yeah, and then I think there's 1,000 each Saturday and Sunday, and then there's also a cumulative prize for somebody who has the most points throughout. So even if you're someone who's like always finishing well but not winning a lot, you're getting frustrated, don't worry, because if those points add up, you're going to get rewarded at the end. I think we're going to do one on the holiday Monday, also some sort of a thing I was reading. So going to be a lot of fun and a lot of options for free. Anytime there's something that's free, like the show Survivor,
take advantage of it.
You got to take advantage. Absolutely.
Well, this is a free seminar here, so hopefully you guys will take advantage of our picks. One note is this charity in the past, we've raised the money for Karma, a wonderful organization. For this meet, we're going to be raising money for the Winners Foundation, and we'll get representatives from the Winner Foundation to be on the show and tell us a little bit more about the organization. But it's a fine organization. They provide one-on-one assistance to employees, family members working around here on the track. It's just a wonderful organization, and hopefully we'll be able to raise some money for the Winners Foundation here on this charity. Chappie, why don't you let Gino go first? And I got Matt's picks here, and I'll be doing Matt's picks.
Okay, so since Matt can't join us today, Gino, you're going. I guess you're still going against him since Georgie has the picks. By the way, I gotta say something. Georgie, you look very sharp today.
Yeah.
But Gino, if you could see him, I mean, we're talking full suit on.
He looks great.
He looks like $1 million.
He does.
I mean, I'm very impressed. I just said
my mask. I could use it like as a pocket, the handkerchief. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't notice anything different because George always looks incredible.
There you go, baby.
That's why it didn't even dawn on me.
Hey, today he's over the top. Just let me telling you.
Today he looks like he could just walk out of like the 1920s or the 1930s and just like a real old school gambler here. That's why He's going to steal some of the money, and we're going to do it right off the bat, Chappie, in race number 1. You guys know me. I don't even handicap the races. I pick numbers, So I just, number 1 in race 1. I stopped right there. I didn't have to go any farther. That's all I needed, Georgie. We go right back to our buddy who actually was a winner when we did this charity contest seminar a couple months back on July the 23rd. Wilder Than Most was a horse who we actually had that day, and I like him a lot from the inside. If you look at this field, there is no proven speed on paper at all. The only other horse who's shown a little bit of speed is Feriano, who's right next door. But I think Wilder Than Most is naturally quicker, and Pratt does a really good job of knowing when this is the case in a race where he's on the horse that's got the most speed. He's got the inside draw. He's had some issues at the start. As long as he gets away early, I think he's going to be out there for the place. He goes back to the grass where he did his best work 2 starts back. And I think because he's a little low on the speed figures, you're actually going to get a better price on him. Wilder Than Most back to the turf. He missed the break. He was wide into the turn. He had to kind of press from off. I think they're going to be chasing him today. Let's get things started right off the bat with the 1 in race number 1.
So 100 to win on the 1 for Gino. And a couple things about that horse. 2 back. The horse was stalking, kind of got shuffled back on the turn, actually back to almost mid-pack, even at the back of the pack, and still re-rallied to win comfortably. And then people see that last running line. He stumbled to start, whatever, didn't run that well. That was on the dirt. Just throw a line, just draw a line through that. Go back to the turf. Pratt sees fit to ride again. I love it, Gino. 5 to 1 on the morning line. We're going to get started off race 1, number 1, with a hundo, Georgie.
And we'll be singing. The Willy Wonka right afterwards with Gene Wilder again.
That's right. All right. Well, my man Matt is going in that same race, so
wow,
we're gonna find out right away who's got the goods. He's going with number 4, Carmelita's Man, 100 to win. Carmelita's Man, who last time he said had an awkward start. It really cost him. He was favored that day. And in fact, been favored the last couple of times. This time, no mishaps at the start. Is going to get a good break. JJ Hernandez takes over, and Carmelita's Man is going to start the day with a win, and we'll be singing adios to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory right there. Carmelita's Man, 100 to win on race number 1.
And we'll be coming from opposite ends of the spectrum. I'll be up front. And Carmelita is going to be coming from way out of it. So
yeah. You could be bookends early in the. You could be on the lead, and Carmelita could be sitting last early. But
we'll be last. Yeah.
I guess it just matters who crosses the wire first. So
exactly.
All right, Gino. I guess you know what. Let's go ahead and talk. Did you talk about a little bit more about that's what G said? Did you talk about that a little bit earlier?
Yeah, we got we'll have a couple podcast episodes coming out every week. The big episode usually comes out late Thursday, where we cover all of the big races all around the country, whatever stakes races are happening, wherever there's a big day, and we will be covering all of Santa Anita. So when you tune into that podcast, you'll get Friday and Saturday. On this last episode, full card Friday, went through like 6 or 7 of the races on the Saturday card. We also got Churchill at Belmont in there. Every NFL game, we spend about 2 hours previewing every single game, totals, spreads, analysis, injury news, player props. We went over everything happening. We cover all of the wrestling shows every single week. Marvel, we're recapping What If. We got a Shang-Chi recap coming up soon. So you name it. NBA, I think the Lakers have a preseason game this weekend. They have one of their first, and the baseball playoffs are going to start next week. You're going to find out about all of that on That's What G Said.
I love it. He covers, like you said, Georgie, everything under the sun, and the guy never sleeps. He watches TV 24 hours a day, and he knows everything about every sport, every TV show, wrestling. It doesn't matter. But all that matters here is the exacta. So where are we going with your $100 exacta and why?
We are going to race number 5, and we're looking at the Speakeasy Stakes. It is the first of, I believe, 4 stakes races on the card today. The other 3 are graded that follow this one. There are some really talented 2-year-olds in this race. Some really nice horses. And Chappie, you know what? You and I were talking a little bit about this race yesterday. When you get these 2-year-old races, a lot of times what happens is The horses who win the 2-year-old races are very fast. They break well. They open up. They clear the field. And then when they all come together in a stakes race, you end up having a bunch of horses who have all done the same thing, that have all showed speed, and you don't really know who can sit or who's going to come from off the pace. I'm confident at least in knowing that Anmer Hall can do that in this field. Anmer Hall is one of a few that can sit, that can pass horses. He showed me he could do that. He had a fine start. 4 other horses went for the lead, so he took back. That's what I liked. It wasn't like he was slow. I wouldn't be shocked if he is a little bit closer today, too. He has the opportunity to sit wherever he wants. I think he's just kind of that type of push-button horse. You've got Joel Rosario aboard. He's proven on turf, and he's proven that he can pass. We're going to keep an eye on a horse running in the 3rd race, Trebbiano. If Trebbiano wins earlier, that'll make us even like Anmer Hall a little bit more. I think the horse to beat is Forbidden Kingdom. That horse's debut race was awesome. Has a winning turf sib, and I don't think he's a need the lead type. I could see him sitting just off if he has to. I think he's probably the best horse in this race. So I'm going to hook up Anmer Hall and Forbidden Kingdom. I'll box the 2 of them for a $50 exacta box 3-4.
All right, so $50 exacta box 3-4 for Forbidden Kingdom. I know the word was out before that race, and the horse lived up to the hype, and being an American Pharaoh should take to the turf rather nicely. And like you said, it looks like there's a ton of space or a ton of pace in here. And the 3 Anmer Hall seems to be the one that, at least the proven commodity from off the pace. So 3-4 there, Georgie.
Sounds good. One of the great things about today is we got a lot of win and you're in races. In fact, all weekend long, we got some big time runners that are pointing towards the Breeders' Cup. And we got when you got a win and you're in, you're going to draw the attention from trainers and entries from around the country. And that's what we're going to be seeing this weekend to pop it out. Yet tomorrow, we got 11 big races. It's going to be spectacular. Sunday, we got 10 races. We got some of the superstars of our sport participating. Today, I don't know if you guys noticed, aside from the great racing, to Chappie's left is a cutout of my man John Shear right there, baby. And John Shear, he's his birthday was just recently. I think, did he turn 100?
Yes, 100, yes.
And he was famous, when he was a young whippersnapper in his 90s of saving a child from at least injury when a horse got loose in the paddock, and he jumped in front of the horse at like 90 years old. It's unbelievable. He's one of the nicest men I've ever met. He's retiring, and we're having a ceremony for him. So if you can make it out to the track, please come out. It's going to be a very nice ceremony for John Shear. We're going to have great, spectacular races, including some great races like the American Pharaoh and the Chandelier. Both of them grade 1s, winning you're in. It's just this whole weekend is just spectacular. Oktoberfest tomorrow. I got lederhosen. Gino, I'm going to be wearing my lederhosen tomorrow.
Be tossing a few back too, Georgie.
Yeah, why not?
I'd imagine. And
I'll clock out just for an hour so I can drink it and clock back in. There you go.
You talked about John Shear. They got a really cool little video of him on the Santa Anita Park Twitter feed. So where this stream is on, if you're watching us and you're following along on Twitter, just earlier in the day, it shows him doing his push-up routine. Still gets up in the morning and does his push-ups at 100 years old. Wow. So impressive. And anytime you want to follow along with anything happening like Oktoberfest or any of the good events, you can do so at Santa Anita Park on Twitter. Put the notifications on for the next month while the meet is going, because you're going to want to get alerted to all the free contests, all the stuff on track. Anytime you can have a drink with Georgie,
I can't believe John's, retiring at the ripe young age of 100. I mean, what's he doing? Come on.
He's milking it, right?
That's right.
All right. Let me try to milk an exacta out of race number 6. I'm going to have an exacta for my man, Matt Chu, in the Chandelier. It's grade 2, actually. Worth $200,000, a mile and a 16th. And there's 2 runners that I'm going to be keying on, and I'm going to use a $50 exacta box on both of these. One of them was one that I thought was just absolutely visually impressive. That's number 4, Grace Adler. Made a move. It was just a scintillating move around the turn. Looked like the other ones were just were standing still. And he went off and just drew away by almost a dozen lengths. It was really impressive. On big days like this, Pratt just seems to shine. Pratt, on big days wins big race after big race after big race, and I expect Grace Adler to win. I almost made it a one-way exacta, but the hype is so strong on number 2. Ain't Easy. Everywhere you turn around, you hear people going, hey, ain't easy, and they wink at you. It's one of those type horses where all the buzz is how good this one's doing. What an impressive race. He's in the barn of the Sultan of Saad, Phil D'Amato. Rosario, to me, could be the best jockey in the country. He's so strong down the lane. When he comes down the lane, you can immediately know it's him because he is so much stronger, pumping horses than anybody I've seen. He's just a rock. And so I'm going to make an exacta box with 2 runners. They're both undefeated. One of them's going to go down, unfortunately, today. But Ain't Easy and Grace Adler, a $50 exacta box in race number 6.
Nice.
Very interesting race. Only one horse two of them of the group have gone 2 turns. So it'll be interesting to see in a very talented group who takes to the 2-turn game today. Georgie.
All right. I think, I'm leaning towards Grace Adler because, went 7 furlongs and did very, very well.
Yeah.
So I think we'll appreciate the distance. And again, Pratt Baffert is loaded all weekend long. I have to do I do the handicapping for the program, and so I have to give the picks like 3 days in advance. And so I've done the whole weekend already. And Bob Baffert is just loaded every race that's big. He's got 1 or 2 entries that look best in every single race. It's just he's going to have a big weekend for sure. And so is Pratt. It's going to be pretty cool. All right, we're going to the Daily Double, Chappie.
All right, Gino, let's take us home, baby, with the Daily Double. Where are you going and why?
One of the things that I think is kind of under the radar a little bit that I'm the most excited about for this particular Santa Anita meet is the return of the downhill turf course.
Oh, wow.
Santa Anita is one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world based on the layout and where it is and with the mountains in the back. And it's so picturesque. And if you've ever got a chance to see that hillside turf course up close with the way it is in the background and that kind of the houses right behind it, and the way it comes on the turn, it is one of the most unique things in all of horse racing. It's awesome. And there's something exciting about when the horses are coming down and they make that turn. And it's just, I don't know what it is about that. I know so many people that were just a little disappointed to see the hill go away and are now very excited to see it return. So I definitely wanted to go to the Eddie D today, which is down the hill in race number 7 for one of my plays in what is a fan-freaking-tastic race. Oh my goodness. You can legitimately make cases for so many of these horses. And I'm curious to see if some of the same things that used to play out with the hillside turf course still do. It used to be a turf course that was, you wanted to be drawn more towards the outside. Horses that were cutting back from, or that were coming back from a mile and a 16th races were generally better than horses that were coming out of the 5.5 furlong turf races. So I'm just a lot of things about the hill that I'm looking forward to, and I'm going to see how it stacks up. And we're going to go right and get you a big winner right off the bat. We've been talking about Flavia and Pratt. We're going to Charmaine's Mia in here. Wow. And I'm going to single Charmaine's Mia to start my double. And this is the mare, a very, very talented mare who is going to be cutting back to a sprint, and she has succeeded sprinting. I feel like this layout is just going to be perfect for her. It should hit her right between the eyes. You'll notice she can go to the lead when they go longer, but she can also come from off the pace if need be. And I think she'll be coming from off the pace a little more in this spot. She's actually got wins at 5, 5.5, 6, 7, and a mile. She's just all of the distances that are right around this trip that you would like. She ran into a horse named Princess Grace last time out, who is 6 for 7. And Princess Grace came out of that race to win another graded stakes race afterwards. If you look at Charmaine's Mia, when she came into the D'Amato barn, what does she do? Well, she wins a sprint right off the bat. The grade 3 La Siena gets going 6. She stretches out going a mile. She wins. She goes a mile again and wins. 3 consecutive graded stakes wins to start for D'Amato. And then they try the Gamely. It's a mile and an eighth, and it's a grade 1 against pretty tough company. And that was just a little bit too much for her. I can excuse that race. She's off for a few months. She returns in the yellow ribbon. The only problem is that grade 2 yellow ribbon was tougher than the grade 1 Gamely that she was in. If you notice, the horse who won the Gamely, Maxim Rate, finished 3rd in the yellow ribbon. Bodhicitta, who was 3rd in the Gamely, was 4th in the yellow ribbon. So even if it was a grade 2, it was stronger than a grade 1. I just think she ran into really tough company going a little bit longer. You cut her back. I mean, you can make so many cases for others in here, but she's going to be in the 8-1 range. That's the kind of horse I wanted single in a double and get some separation or play to win. Flavian Pratt aboard, second off the short break. Let's go Charmaine's Mia. Hope she's sitting like 3rd or 4th in here.
What and who you go to in the double in the
We're going to the 8th race, which is the American Pharaoh. Another win and you're in. Another race, as George mentioned, where Baffert is loaded. He's got Corniche. That was a horse who George actually talked about on one of our other handicapping seminars, and you said that was the free space single. Don't even touch anybody else because Corniche is going to win easy. And you were right. Corniche absolutely did. But now Corniche is going to have to stretch out from 5.5 to a mile and draws the rail. There's a couple other speeds in here too. I'm going to play against Corniche in this spot. So I'm going to close the double to the 4 and the 6. Oviatt Class was extremely impressive when they stretched out. This is another case of a horse who just has the benefit of going a mile. And if they go quick early on, doesn't it look like Oviatt Class is going to be the one who benefits most? If Corniche, Flying Drummer, Joker Boy, Rockefeller, Papa Cap, I don't think all the Bafferts are going to just duel each other, but they all want to be close. They're all going to want to be, in that close pack. That should set up really nicely for Oviatt Class. I think Rockefeller might just be the best horse. I think he can sit a little bit too. I like that he's drawn towards the outside. He was a step slow. He took a little while to get going, but because he drew the rail, they rushed him right up to kind of keep him out of trouble. I don't think he's a need the lead horse. I think that was more of a, hey, we don't want to get caught behind. We don't want to get in trouble. We think we're the best. Let's just go up the rail and make them pass us. And it was a great call by Cedillo. He opened up 5. He won easily. Pratt jumps aboard here. So I'm going to use 4 and 6 as the 2 key horses in this race. And I hope I can get a 4-4 double. Would be beautiful.
2 takeaways from your double real quick. First of all, like you and I have been on the same page in the NFL, have been 2-0 the last 2 weeks. My top pick in a very tough race is also Charmaine's Mia in the 7th. And actually in the 8th race, before that horse had ever ran, we had Kent DeSormo on our radio show, the Morning Line Sports Show. We said, anybody to look forward to coming up? And he said, I got one horse I've been working in the morning that remember the name, and it was Oviatt Class. Nice. And he turned out to be prophetic. That horse, I guess, just needed the 2 turns and turned in a smashing performance last time out. So very, very difficult. Two difficult races here back to back.
And you think about DeSormo and what they've done with young horses when they get them good, right? They'll sometimes like this, Texas Red, Exaggerator, horses that they get good and then they figure them out. And it's like that light bulb goes on and they understand. This horse kind of reminds me of that, but even with his running style, the way he just is going to drop back, you know what you're going to get from him. Don't be worried when he's dead last here because that's where he wants to be. We just need to make sure that there's a little bit of pace happening. And I think Rockefeller will end up sitting a little bit. So 4-6 to try to beat Corniche.
And Keith DeSormo certainly takes his time with horses.
We're kind of running out of time. So, Gino, as I give my daily double, you personally go back to race number 5 because Amber Hall is scratched. Hall is scratched. So
okay, cool. Okay.
Start thinking of how you're going to replace him. Okay. And let me tell you about my daily double. On a radio show that I was in, Bob Baffert said, it doesn't matter who Corniche runs against. Corniche will crush any competition that Corniche faces. So it's a no-brainer for me to start the 8th race with Corniche. So I know that Gino will be out of his daily double. So we're gonna have such a good chance here. Corniche ran a ridiculous thoroughgraph number first time out. He just drew away and crushed a field. He's going to love Quality Road is his sire. He's going to love going 2 turns, draws nicely on the rail. Corniche is going to serve a Corniche game hen to the rest of the field here and just win for fun. And I'm going to do an ice cold daily double for race number 9, as I think in race number 9, Big Summer with Rispoli aboard is just, been knocking on the door, and I think that door is going to open wide open today. Big Summer, Blake Heap, he was favored the last 2 times, a little bit of disappointment, had some issues, no issues today. So my daily double is going to be a 1-6 ice cold daily double. Going back to the 5th.
Okay, so I'm going to change. I'm just going to cross out the 5th, and we're going to go to the 4th instead. For my exacta box, and I'm going to play an exacta box in race number 4. We have a field of 6. I think 4 of them are going to all be pushing each other on the front end. It looks like, and in fact, Buttered Noodles, Smile for Me, and PR Radio Star, they all come out of the same race on August the 21st, and they did. They lined up 5 horses across the racetrack. They were all battling. That was going 6.5. Now this is going 7. I don't know if they all line up again like that, but their best chances to win are when they're forwardly placed. And then you add Platinum Equity into the mix. Platinum Equity is also very, very quick. So I think all 4 of them are going to be battling. The 2 horses who I think take advantage of it the most are the 1, California Street. The rail concerns me a little bit going 7, but this is like a Moneyball Doug O'Neill claim. This is exactly what Doug does. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little too talky. And then I'm going to go to the 4, It's That Time. So that's going to be, I think It's That Time gets a perfect trip and falls right into it on the turn back. 1-4 exacta box in the 4th.
All right, so 1-4, Georgie.